The State College Meals on Wheels program is delivering more than just food. Stay tuned to find out.
And State College Area High School is going through a lot of changes. We take you on a behind-the-scenes tour of the multi-million-dollar construction project. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Zinnia Maldonado.
And I'm Gianna Kazazian. A hearing to determine if convicted cop killer Eric Freen gets the death sentence continues today in the Poconos. Yesterday, Freen's mother made an emotional appeal to the jury to spare her son's life. Freen was convicted of a 2014 attack that killed State Trooper Brian Dixon and injured another trooper. His father also testified yesterday, saying he failed as a father. Freen will either be sentenced to death or life in prison. A hearing is set for Thursday for 3 Franciscan friars in Hollidaysburg. They're asking a judge to throw out criminal charges against them in a case involving an accused sexual predator. The 3 are awaiting trial on endangerment and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say they did not properly supervise brother Stephen Baker, who was accused of molesting more than 100 children. He later killed himself. Baker served at high school in Johnstown.
The first phase of State College High School's multi-million-dollar renovation project is moving along. I was able to get an inside look at the progress on Westerly Parkway. State College Area High School has been under construction for almost 2 years now. The first phase of the 3-part project is almost finished.
I think it'll be a lot nicer than both buildings that we have right now. So plus it'll be nice to be in one school and not have to travel between both.
By next winter, students will move into the new building where there'll be 4 connected learning pods. The pods are open spaces that'll serve as educational units. There'll also be a new enclosed green space for students to enjoy.
In the building, there's going to be a large interior courtyard. The courtyard is going to be connected to the cafeteria as well as the classroom areas of the building, so it'll let the students kind of spill out into this controlled and secure green space for some fresh air during the day.
When complete, the South and North Campus facilities will be around 700,000 square feet, which is about the same size of Beaver Stadium. Assistant Principal Chris Weekland says students could even intern with the construction management group.
It really has been a phenomenal laboratory right outside our windows, and if we didn't take advantage of that, we're missing an opportunity, and we're doing everything we can to bring the project into the classroom and the classroom out to the project as well.
Students say they think it'll be a huge upgrade.
There's just so much construction going on, so it's just kind of chaotic. But I think the inside's going to look so much nicer because right now it's kind of been in the process of being built, so I'm excited.
The expansion project has a total price tag of about $137 million. A new traffic pattern goes into effect April 27th around the South Building construction area, so watch for those changes. The first phase of the State High project is set to be done by next January, and more work will wrap up by the fall of 2019.
Pennsylvania's primary election day is 3 weeks from today. Among the key races in Center County is State College Mayor. A few weeks ago, we talked with 2 of the candidates, Michael Black and Donald Hahn. Now look at the others.
Thanks, Gianna. As the primary election gets closer, I've been talking with the candidates running for State College Mayor to replace Elizabeth Gorham. There are 4 candidates. Today, a closer look at Janet Engelman and Catherine Dollar. The first candidate up is Janet Engelman. She is a current State College Borough Councilwoman and a Bellefonte native. Engelman believes her experience gives her an advantage.
I think I'm outgoing, I think I'm articulate, and I think I have the best interests of the community at heart.
She says she has mixed feelings about the growth of State College.
I think it's a double-edged sword. One problem that we have is that State College has a finite land area, so we don't have a lot of options except to go up.
Engelman feels she'll be a great face for the borough.
I'd like to look for new avenues for having an influence of the borough on the community at large.
The next candidate is Catherine Dollar. She is also a borough councilwoman. She declined repeated requests for an on-camera interview. On her website, she says she plans to promote civility and transparency in, quote, all aspects of civic life. In State College for the Center County Report, I'm Kayla Lowe.
The voter registration deadline has already passed for the primary. The general election is November 7th, and you can register for that until October 10th.
April is National Volunteer Month, and one local program is helping to deliver food and a whole lot more here in Center County. Reporter Janae Parrott has the story.
Oh, I love it.
And it sure as heck helps me out.
Meals on Wheels provides the elderly, disabled, and poor with meals between 3 and 5 times a week. Volunteers deliver the meals right to their doorstep here in the State College area.
When I got my first meal, I teared up. It was...
Lawrence Flowers has been receiving Meals on Wheels for over 3 years, and he says he's changed because of it.
Without the program, it wouldn't be long before the last nail would go in the coffin.
For people like Lawrence, the Meals on Wheels program is more than just about food. It's about human connection and knowing that even if it is just for a few minutes, someone will always be there to check up on you.
When people come here, I sound like a 33 record played at 78 because I just go on and on and on. I'm just so happy to see people.
The Trump administration's proposed 2018 budget includes federal budget cuts that could affect the popular program, leaving people like Grace Nimitz annoyed.
Another mistake of his. I can't stand that man.
And Lawrence nervous about his future.
When I heard that, I was very... It silenced me for a while. It's not only Meals on Wheels, it's the elderly, it's the old, it's the poor, impoverished, and the minorities.
Until then, he'll continue to be thankful for the program and for the volunteers who remind him of the good old days.
The good old days was because you were at home and your wife was sick. The next door neighbor would come over and take care of her. And that was the good old days. People were looking out for people.
In State College, I'm Janae Parrott for the Center County Report.
For more information about the program and volunteer opportunities in your area, visit the website mealsonwheelsamerica.org.
A recent study by the Governor's Highway Safety Association shows a disturbing trend in Pennsylvania, a 30% increase in pedestrian accident deaths in the first half of this year versus last year. The question is why? Reporter Lisa Benetton is live in downtown State College to tell us more. Lisa?
Thanks. I'm here on Allen Street next to this new sign. Places like here in downtown State College are busy with a lot of walkers and also cars. Studies show that across the state, there have already been 77 pedestrian deaths this year. Experts say that these deaths are related to distractions such as phones and also alcohol.
Over the past 2 years, pedestrian deaths have risen by 22% in the U.S. What makes this more surprising? That 34% of these pedestrians had blood alcohol levels of 0.08 or higher. Many walkers feel that it is drivers who need to be more aware.
Drivers should be more concerned about hitting somebody who is drunk or somebody who's just trying to cross the street. They're just trying to cross the street to get home and get home safely.
Some have experienced the dangers of walking while intoxicated firsthand.
I have been hit by a car in Philly, and I was only a little drunk, but it was their fault.
There's no solution, I'm pretty sure. People are always gonna get drunk and then walk across the street at some point.
Although drivers may be aware, maneuvering through drunk walkers is still challenging for some.
I don't, when you're in it, you don't realize how reckless people are being. And then when I was, behind the wheel driving around, people are just running in front of the car, and, I was trying to park, and I was backing up at one point, and I, almost hit somebody. It's, literal chaos, it's out of control.
With a 30% increase in pedestrian deaths over the past 2 years, Pennsylvania is now ranked 19th nationally.
There has been a new sign put in on Allen Street that blinks, "Drive with care, walk aware." State College police say this is part of a campaign to encourage safe walking.
We have been working with the university, with the communications class on a pedestrian safety campaign, encouraging people to use crosswalks, to use them properly, and follow the Pennsylvania law.
State College Police also said that they have seen an increase in pedestrian crashes over the past 3 years. Live in State College, I'm Lisa Benetton. Now back to you guys in the studio.
The way some people get around Center County is changing. We look at the effects Uber is having on local taxi businesses coming up.
Plus, some rain and higher temperatures are on the way. We'll tell you what you could expect in the 7-day forecast. And Pennsylvania park rangers will now carry something new to help people in need. That's on the way after the break.
Coming up next, this act of kindness in State College is a different kind of cheesy. It's simple, but find out why it's based on very serious recent events.
And some local kids got an early visit from the Easter Bunny. We'll take you to this popular event. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Zinnia Maldonado.
And I'm Gianna Kazazian. There are new developments today in Penn State's effort to curb excessive drinking at fraternities and sororities after the death of a student. Tim Piazza died in February and the Beta Theta Pi House is now closed. Penn State President Eric Barron now says in an open letter to the Greek life community that if serious issues continue, he predicts, quote, many empty houses and the end of Greek life at Penn State. Barron cites a recent Parents' Weekend when he says at least 9 fraternities or sororities violated alcohol rules. He says one of them, Sigma Alpha Mu, violated almost every rule. Barron says that fraternity and others now face decisions by the university.
We're expecting to find out in the next week or two if criminal charges will be filed in Tim Piazza's death. His parents say police told them video from the house showed their son getting off a couch where he'd been placed after falling downstairs. His death sparked changes to Greek letter organizations. The Center County Report recently posted a survey for students and alumni to voice their opinions. Reporter Taylor Stetzar says we received more than 800 responses and 200 comments.
Students are still talking about Penn State's new Greek life regulations. Most people we surveyed are members of Greek life. 33% aren't involved and 4% used to be but are no longer affiliated. Do Greek orgs play a part in where to go to school? 42% say if Penn State didn't have Greek life, they would not have attended. Roughly the same numbers say the size of Penn State's Greek life drew them here instead of another school. About 77% think admissions as well as donations and support from Greek alumni will be affected by the changes. Only 14% think that the new rules will curb binge drinking in some way. Almost 3/4 believe freshmen will break the dry campus policy if they can't rush until their sophomore year. Responses are varied over how fraternities and sororities should react to the new rules. 20% say they should follow them. Almost 40% say the university and Greek orgs should reach a compromise. This leaves 34% who think Penn State can't control what happens off campus and say Greeks have a right to fight the regulations. Comments posted on our online survey covered a variety of topics. They include, I am not in Greek life, but I know that my sister who just made her acceptance to the school is now hesitant about coming here. And, I think the death of a student should be respected through the university's decision, and Greek life should understand that. Another says, this school should consider the students, and they shouldn't just make these decisions without even considering how we feel. No one is going to want to go to a school that doesn't listen to their students' opinions. I'm Taylor Stetzer for the Center County Report.
A link to many of the anonymous comments will be made available on our social media pages if you want to read them.
The name synonymous with Penn State is Joe Paterno. Now his son Jay hopes to put his own new mark on the university community. He's running for a spot on the Board of Trustees. Reporter George Stockberger talked with him here on set to talk family, football, and the board election.
I'm a guy that's been around higher education for more than 2 decades. I've been involved in raising money for Penn State from the time I was a kid. You know, I'm not going to be shy about voicing my opinions. I'm not going to be shy about fighting for what I believe is right. I think I've proven that in the last 5 years in my willingness to stand up for Penn State when at times this administration wouldn't stand up for Penn State themselves, and at times when this university was under assault.
In your book, you talk about your parents, you talk about your wife, your children, your brothers, your sisters, but one that really stood out to me was to journalism students. Why did you feel like you had to put that in there?
There were a lot of people that rushed and wrote stories that were absolutely not true, and they had long-lasting impacts on my family, on other people's families, our football players, our university, and a lot of people around us. I mean, when this bomb went off, a lot of shrapnel hit a lot of people. One of the things that my dad always said, you know, he said, you know, I wish I was half as good as people think I am. I wish I knew as much as people thought I knew. And as it related to this particular case, he said, look, I wasn't aware of these types of things, and you know, he felt bad that he wasn't more versed in those things.
Was the statue something that he liked, or not too much?
He used to laugh about it. He said, I don't want it. He said one time, he said, I don't want anybody to look at a statue of me. It's not like I look like Michelangelo's David. He said, you know, I'm not a Greek god by any stretch of the imagination. So he had a good sense of humor about it.
What would be your message to the Penn State community, the students, the alumni, as they go to vote for the Board of Trustees?
Well, I think you got to look at this and say, you know, we're going to continue to need people that stand up for Penn State. People have vision. People have a sense of where we have been and where we can be. And that's one of the things that I've always believed that I possess. So hopefully You know, I'd be humbled if I'm asked to serve, because it is a service role. It's not a perk. And I think the message I want them to understand is that I'm going to go in there and slug for them, that I'm going to listen to what they have to say, and we're going to fight for what's best for Penn State.
Alumni can now request electronic ballots and can vote through May 4th at 9 a.m.
The trial of accused cop killer Eric Freen is on break for the Passover holiday in Pike County. Prosecutors say they expect to rest their case next week. Freen is charged with killing State Trooper Brian Dixon almost 3 years ago. Yesterday in court, law enforcement testified about the 48-day manhunt for Freen that involved as many as 1,000 officers. A trooper also testified about a suspected journal Freen left. It described the shooting and his escape.
The state Senate is considering a bill that would allow some video gambling at airports around Pennsylvania. University Park Airport is one of those on the list for the proposal, which passed the House last week. Others include Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Erie, and more. The plan would allow airports to apply for a gambling certificate. This would create a gambling zone for the travelers over 21 to use after they pass through security.
Recently, we brought you the story of State College neighbors reaching out to people from other countries through lawn signs in different languages. Now, others are spreading a similar message, one pizza at a time. Reporter Lisa Benetton grabbed a slice.
Yeah, of course.
Who doesn't love pizza, especially when it's free? Once a month, the Muslims of Penn State organization has been handing out free pizza.
But what's the idea behind the free cheese?
To spread kindness to people around, to strangers, to show the importance of community.
Zach, who kind of founded this event, thought it would be a great way to kind of spread that positivity and show who true Muslims are.
Etienne says it's in response to recent events.
It's too much selfishness in this world, and I feel like it's very, very important just to give back, We're dealing with tough times right now with fascism and bigotry spreading.
The students seem to appreciate the free meal and the message.
They're just trying to make it seem like, especially like our generation, they're trying to make it seem like they're kind and just opposing all societal norms, and they're trying to break those down for our generation.
The Muslims of Penn State group says they are just another piece of the Penn State puzzle.
Just like anyone else, if you're Christian here, if you're Jewish here, we're all one big Penn State family. So
amazing. Peace.
In University Park, I'm Lisa Benetton for the Center County Report.
The organization says it plans to make this an ongoing tradition in the Penn State community.
The primary election for State College mayor is set for May 16th, and reporter Kayla Lowe talked with two of the candidates about their reasons for running. She's in our studio with the story. Kayla?
For the first time in 7 years, State College is picking a new mayor. Elizabeth Gorham won't be running again. So who are the new candidates and what do they stand for? I sat down with two of them to find out. The first candidate up is Michael Black. He is the year's only candidate for mayor who's never had experience in government. But he doesn't see that stopping his chances of winning.
I've been here for 25 years. I've been a student, business professional, community change agent, community service person that it feels right for me at this time to be involved.
He believes in connecting the permanent residents of State College with students by giving them things to do together.
More interaction between students that live on campus and people that live in town, right? More friendly events.
He thinks this is the right time for him as people become more politically active.
Want to have a say, get involved, and take steps toward creating their own communities.
Our next candidate is Donald Hahn. He is a State College lawyer and a former borough council member. He says he wants to continue what Mayor Elizabeth Gorham has already been doing by getting people to talk to each other.
The ideas I have is to sponsor a breakfast issues forum.
Hahn says he has been going door to door to see what people of State College want.
One has a responsibility to represent the community and more than just oneself.
He also thinks he could be a strong advocate for the shared values of State College residents.
Diversity and inclusion, the environmental protection, and education.
We're also contacting two candidates for State College mayor and hope to talk with them in the next few weeks.
Speaking of local elections, the race for Center County District Attorney is heating up. We'll talk with candidates coming up.
And this warm weather has us craving more sunshine. We'll tell you if you can put away those winter coats for good. And around 1,000 people turned out at Penn State for an annual event to fight a deadly disease. We'll take you there after the break.
A brief chase started. Stevens then shot and killed himself in his car. He is accused of killing a 74-year-old man in Cleveland on Sunday. There were reports that his cell phone pinged in Erie yesterday. A news conference is expected shortly. We'll have more details on this developing story on our social media channels.
There's new information out today on the death of Penn State student Timothy Piazza, but this time it's from defense lawyers. According to Philly.com, lawyers representing Beta Theta Pi members say fraternity members thought Piazza was drunk, but not in danger or critically hurt after he fell downstairs during the party in February. The lawyers claim the members couldn't wake him up the next morning, and that's when they called for help. Piazza later died. The criminal investigation continues into his death, and officials have said they expected it to wrap up this month. A state trooper critically hurt in an ambush that killed another trooper has testified at the suspect's trial. Eric Freen is charged with the attack in 2014 that left Brian Dixon dead and Alex Douglas hurt. In court yesterday, Douglas called Freen a coward who left him with lifelong injuries. He's undergone 18 surgeries and said he still has pain. Police caught Freen after a 48-day manhunt in the Poconos. Prosecutors also presented evidence yesterday that Freen did research on how to escape a manhunt more than a year before the shootings.
Traffic deaths in Pennsylvania have now dropped to the lowest level since they began to track the numbers in 1928. Highway officials say 1,188 people died last year in traffic-related deaths. That's down slightly from the year before. Fatal drunk driving incidents also dropped. One category that did rise is pedestrian deaths.
A local woman is helping to raise awareness after her tragic loss. The founder of Don't Stall, Just Call, Mary Chimetti, spoke last night at Penn State's Hintz Family Alumni Center about her son, Christian Chimetti. He was a sophomore at Temple University who died from alcohol poisoning. Mary travels the country, sharing her heartbreaking story with students and hoping to make an impact.
I also want all young people to learn the signs of alcohol poisoning, so if they ever see somebody exhibiting the signs, that they can make a call and save a life. So don't stall, just call, always.
It's okay when it's done responsibly, and there's a lot of social and cultural reasons why someone wouldn't do it responsibly, and I think it's about time that we change that.
According to Don't Stall, Just Call's website, there are 1,800 alcohol-related injuries each year. The website includes safe drinking tips and other information. A local therapist accused of assaulting customers had his request for reduced bail denied by a judge. Kevin Gilliam's lawyers appealed the $150,000 bail set at his preliminary hearing, but a judge said no. Gilliam faces 5 counts of indecent assault and 4 counts of aggravated indecent assault for allegedly touching clients inappropriately during massages at his State College spa. A judge has sentenced a State College area man to prison after his guilty plea to drug charges. 22-year-old Jordan Korn was sentenced to 90 days to 23 months behind bars. Police say they found as many as 8,000 Xanax pills and thousands of dollars in cash during a search of his apartment in 2015. Prosecutors say his drug operation contributed to the continuing drug crisis in our area.
New York recently became the first state to announce a free college tuition program for middle-class students. It would cover in-state public college tuition for students whose families earn less than $125,000 a year. It also comes with a restriction that recipients live and work in New York for the number of years they get the benefit. So will this idea spread to other states like Pennsylvania? I talked with Penn State students about the idea. New York residents can now get an education for free by going to any community college or public four-year university. We decided to speak to some students who pay for their Penn State education.
So yeah, I do think that the price for a Penn State education is fair, just because I feel like with all the networking that you can get from being like a Penn State student, it's beneficial for the student's future.
New York resident Hannah Robinson says she values her education, but her parents struggle to pay for her and her sister's out-of-state tuition.
So it's been really tough financially. My parents have made a lot of sacrifices for us, so it's definitely I wish I had the option open to me earlier because it's something I would have definitely considered.
A lot of students say that they would have given Penn State a second thought. Senior Kamisha Prince says she would have definitely went to a SUNY school to save money if she had the chance.
I actually got into a lot of state schools and I all turned them down to come to Penn State. And on the other hand, I was kind of happy because I have brothers who are starting college.
The plan will phase out over the course of 3 years. Starting this fall, households that make less than $100,000 a year in gross income will qualify. The income gap will increase in 2018 to $110,000 and in 2019 to $125,000. Also, students must be working towards their bachelor's degree and must complete 30 credits per academic year. But could a plan like this happen in our state?
It would have to be the state of Pennsylvania that would approve a like plan for its state, keeping in mind that Penn State is not a part of the state school system. So how Penn State could engage in a tuition-free program with the state would still be open to speculation.
Kuhn says there hasn't been any conversations at Penn State about a similar program.
It's estimated that almost 940,000 families would be eligible for the program when it's completely phased in. There is a lot of debate about the program and some criticism, like the fact it covers only tuition, not room and board, and books.
A local clothing store is one of almost 400 that's closing around the country. That story is coming up.
Plus, after a few sunny days, some rain may be on the way this week. We'll tell you what you can expect in the 7-day forecast. And with Hump Day just around the corner, we'll give you a bird's eye view of a Center County event worth going wild about. That's on the way after the break.